Immediately I was said, I would say I still join my fellow South Africans in mourning this gallant woman. In the interest of full disclosure, I think we must say in this discussion that whenever we're talking about Mama Winnie, we must be cognizant of what apartheid was and how violent and the system was. And as someone who participated in its opposition, views about her will automatically be polarized, and this polarization will often border on whether how someone felt about apartheid, and as such, viewers at home must know that even as she passes from this earth, those views that people had about her during apartheid, they'll still have. The people that she fought against, who supported apartheid, are still alive today in South Africa, and so there is a narrative that this woman fought against in the war for her people, justice and so on and so forth. She lost the battle of information. That is why whenever we're having a conversation about Mama Mandela, the first thing we must talk about are flaws. Because she lost the war, the battle on narrative. We don't talk about those things when we talk about Mr. Mandela. And so there is an African conservative patriarchy in this discussion in South Africa and across the world that seeks to police Mama Mandela's behavior, and in a way that we've never seen male politicians policed before. We never spoke about the misdeeds while the people are still even mourning. But I'm saying this just as a frame of reference to our discussion from my contribution.
I'm sure you know about the great Alex Haley, the award-winning author of Roots, one of the best-selling books, really. And he also wrote, of course, the autobiography of Malcolm X. He once observed that you should really find something good in a person and praise it. Don't you think that Winnie perhaps deserves the benefit of that doubt?
More than most people who participated in the liberation struggle, I think so. Seen between the 60s, 70s, and 80s, there are 4 tribes. The prisoners are in Robben Island, institutionalized. There's no torture taking place there. They are with a group of their comrades. Prison is prison, but they still are in an institution. Let us draw the map of anti-apartheid. There's no solitary confinement over there unless someone does something against the rule. Then the second tribe are the ones who go to exile. In the United Kingdom, in America, they study, they live fairly comfortable lives, but danger, of course, always lurked during apartheid. There's the third tribe. They go further afield in Africa. They are in Lusaka, less comfortable, but they're away from the imminent dangers of apartheid South Africa. Then there is the large majority of these tribes, the ones who stay within South Africa. Winnie Mandela represented these people. She stood side by side. In 1953, she was actually, when she graduated, as one of the first, certainly the first black South African woman to have a bachelor's in social work. She was offered a scholarship to come to America, and she had to choose to stay in South Africa, helping her people, or come to America, and she chose to stay. So for those reasons like those alone, she deserves all the doubt and the skepticism that we can afford a person who's done so much for the country.
Now, for a person really of your generation, you're one of the most recent generation really in South Africans, how was she able to inspire you?
Simple answer to that one. It's growing up in apartheid South Africa, growing up in the homeland of KwaZulu-Natal, of KwaZulu, because apartheid, for viewers at home, they will know that the apartheid government separated into homelands. They separated different places according to tribe. I grew up in the Zulu one. In school, we were taught that Mandela would never come out of prison. He's a terrorist. We were taught this in primary school.
And the ANC, of course, was a terrorist organization.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. And Archbishop Tutu, at best, was a troublemaker, at worst, an agitator against the state. We were taught that the people abroad, in other words, these people who are abroad, they've abandoned the country and they'll never come back. So the constant face that you always saw, given all things constant as far as the propaganda of the apartheid government, was Mama Winnie Mandela. So whenever she came on TV, my mother would switch off every other noise in the house and say, listen to your auntie. So her death was is like a death of my mother's sister. So if there is a perspective of an academic that I can...
For example, she earned... let's go to the lifeline of the show, and there is Fiona from Uganda. Good evening, Fiona. You're most welcome to Straight Talk Africa. Well, we gather that she's dropped. You wanted to say something?
I'd say these children were themselves participants in the struggle. So they would be the first as good participants and good cadres of the struggle to say, no, we don't deserve special treatment, but honor our parents who did so much. And speaking of that, there are no statues of Mama Winnie Mandela that I know of in the big cities of South Africa. There are no scholarships, there are no lectures, there are no foundations named after Mama, there are no buildings, there are no suburbs. We are thankful to Uganda. Uganda is the only country, Makerere University, that in January 2018 offered Mama, while she was alive, a PhD, an honorary PhD. To the best of my knowledge, no South African university has done so. And this shows that it's a very unique, I'm not sure how unique it is, South African propensity to not honor its heroes. South Africans don't like honoring their heroes until they are dead or until the world honors them. Lucky Dube is a clear example of such a person. Lady Smith Blank Mambazo is a second example. South Africans don't attend their concerts.
What about Hugh Masekela, my friend Hugh Masekela? He's
a rare exception, I would say. But South African, so Mama Mandela, many of the facts that her house in Brantford, where she was, were a classic example of how much South Africans, at least the political elites, the disdain that they've demonstrated towards her by action. In 2017, a 14 million rands, that's roughly $1 million, deal was supposed to be done for her house in Brantford to be turned into a museum. Long story short, the house still stands derelict, windowless today. That's how much people thought of Mama Mandela.
Let's go to
should be inculcated to the young ladies and young girls, so that also they follow the same footsteps of Winnie Mandela.
Thank you very much, Professor. Your reaction? What about that suggestion?
That's a great suggestion. I think the South African quick start would be for the South African government to commit to this. The South African government must say for every street or a building or anything named after Nelson Mandela, honor him as much as we do. But for every street that's named after him, one or two possibly must be named after Mama Mandela, because so far the government has done an abhorrent job of honoring Mama Mandela. But she was not worried towards the end of her life about these things. She knew her people, and she loved her people more because she knew them. She knew their essence, and she knew that she had suffered and she had lost the battle for propaganda and popularity. But she was confident that because of her children, she called my generation, history will absolve her.